we are going to discuss a very important topic, dividends. In this, it talks about the Companies Act 2013, provisions related to declaration and payments of dividends. Payments of the dividend. In this, Companies Act section number 123 to section 127, it talks about the declaration and the payments of the dividend. So before we can go into the technicalities of the provisions of Companies Act, let's understand a basic need, what is dividend. So my dear friends, dividend is basically declared by the company to its shareholders out of profits. Now understand that what is the profit here, what is the meaning of the profit, whether it is a current year profit, whether it is a past year profits. So one thing we can understand, the dividends can be declared only out of the profits, not from the losses. Suppose that a company is incurring the loss, you cannot declare the dividend. So if, because it is an expectations of the shareholders, suppose that a shareholder A is a shareholder who invests in the company, he makes an investment in the company. So why Mr. A is investing the money in the company? Because he is having the expectations of two. One is of whatever the amount of capital he is infusing, it should be appreciated, capital appreciation. And another is a regular form of income should be received. So what is this? In the capital appreciation, it is basically that suppose the investor A is investing a money of rupees 10,000. So its capital is now, suppose it is now redeeming that capital today. So they will earn at a rupees of 20,000. So it means that its capital is doubled, but a regular income is basically a dividend. So company is earning the profits. So for this profit, company is distributed to the shareholders. So it is distributed, you can say distributable profits to its shareholders. Company is declaring the dividend. Company is declared a dividend to shareholders out of its profits, right? So can every company, so if I can ask you one question, is every company is eligible? Is every company is eligible to declare dividends? What would be the answer? Answer is no, because Section 8 companies, are not eligible to declare profits, to declare dividends. What are the Section 8 companies? Section 8 companies are non-profit organization, charitable institutions are my section 8 companies. So the section 8 companies are not eligible to declare the dividends to its shareholders. Fine. Few important things before declaring the dividends, company should comply with it. Number one, company shall provide depreciation on its depreciable assets, on its depreciable assets. It means that providing the depreciation is an important before declaring the dividend. Second, company shall not in default of section 73 and section 74 of Companies Act 2013. It means that section 73 and 74 talks about what? For the acceptance of deposits. The prohibition on acceptance in the repayments of the deposits talks about the section 73 and section 74, which is a separately deal. Right? So these two things are very, very important before declaring the dividends. Right? So now if I talk about the types of dividends, let's understand types of dividend. So there is basically two types of dividend. One is called interim dividend, which can be declared anytime during the financial year or between the two AGMs. And second is called my final dividend. Right. Interim dividend is declared by the board in its board meetings. Right. This is also declared by the board, but in AGM, annual general meeting of its shareholders present in the AGM, not in the board meetings. So the final dividend is this. Once the dividend is declared, another point, very, very important point. Once the dividend is declared, it cannot be revoked. It cannot be revoked. It cannot be revoked. It means that it is a liability of the company to pay to its shareholders. It means once the dividend is declared, what kind of dividend? Both the dividends, whether it is of interim dividend or my final dividend, you have to pay it. If you go with the section number 2 of subsection 35 of Companies Act 2013, it clearly says that dividend includes interim dividend. Clearly said, Section 2 of subsection 35 of Companies Act says dividend includes interim dividend. So these are the some basic points of for dividend. Now come to the section 8. Right. So dividend definition is here, which talks about section 2 of subsection 35, which I already told you that dividend states that dividend includes any interim dividend, right? Declaration of dividend section 123 is saying it is declared by the company at its annual general meeting, recommended by the board, and no power to declare the dividend exceeding any amount of recommended by the board. It means that suppose that the directors declared the dividend at the rate of 12%. If some of the shareholders who are dissented, they are not agree with that amount, that percentage, and they want to increase that percentage, it is not allowed. It is not allowed. Shareholders cannot increase the percentage rate of dividend. They can reduce it, but they cannot increase. Once the dividend is declared, it becomes a debt payable. So it means that it is an obligation. It means an obligation of the company to pay its shareholders, Perfect. Next. Section 8 companies cannot declare the dividends. Already told you. Same thing. Dividend once declared in the AGM cannot be revoked. It is a liability of the company. Company fails to comply the provisions of section 73 and section 74. Cannot declare the dividends. If you make a non-compliance of section 74 and section 75, you cannot declare the dividends. Depreciation. Before the declaration of the dividends, company should provide the depreciation on its depreciable assets. Otherwise, no. One question is very, very important. Is the transfer to reserves is mandatory? Suppose that if you earned a profit of rupees 1000 crores and you want to distribute to the shareholders. So it is any mandatory requirement that the company first to make some reserves for their future growth or like that, to transfer that any reserves. Companies that did not make any compliance in place to transfer any of the profit to the reserves. So it is a discretion of the company. So it is a discretion. Company may, before the declaration of any dividend in the financial year, transfer such percentage of its profits of that financial year. It may considered appropriate. It may considered appropriate to the reserves of the company. So it means that it is a discretionary. It is a voluntarily. It is a voluntarily, not mandatory condition that the company should transfer the certain percentage of amount to the reserves. It is a discretionary. Another is called a source of dividend. What is the source? From where that money can come? Whether it can come out from the profits. I already told you that the dividends can be declared out of the profits only. Now the profits, it can be of current year profit, accumulated profits of the previous year. From the previous years also you can give the dividends out of the money provided by the central government or the state government in pursuance of the guarantee given by them. Suppose the central government or the state government is giving the guarantee of the payment, then obviously they can give that certain amount to the company and through that company they can pay the dividends to its shareholders. So can pay the dividends. So we have the total three sources. One is of current year's profit, past accumulated profits of the previous years, and the out of the money provided by the central government or the state government. Very, very simple. Dividend can be declared of any of the financial years. Obviously, you have any of the financial year, whether it will be a current year profit or the previous year profits. You have a discretion to transfer the voluntarily a portion of the profits to the reserves. It is a voluntary discretion. A company cannot declare the dividend unless carried previous year losses and the depreciation not provided in the previous year. Suppose that you have a profits of last year profit is 1000 crores, and current year you incurred a loss of 100 crores. Now you want, in a layman terms, suppose that now you want to give the dividends of 200 crores. Suppose that 200 crores you want to distribute as a dividend to the shareholders. So you cannot make the payments of 200 crores as a dividend. First you have to set off this of the current year. Then the 100 crores you can distribute. 100 crores you can distribute. Right? Next. Another important, suppose that you have inadequate profits or the absence of the profits, then how you can pay the dividends to the shareholders? So you have the total of 4 points you have to keep in mind before declaring any dividends, any amount of dividends out of the previous year's profits or in the absence of the profits in the current year. First, you have to check the rate of dividend. What should be the rate of the dividend? So it is clearly said that the rate of dividend declared should not exceed the average of the rates. The dividend was declared at the 3 years immediately preceding that year. So it means that suppose that in 2020 you want to declare the dividends. Check the last 3 years, whether you pay the dividends in the last 3 years, 2019, 2018, 2017. Check the rate. Suppose that 10% you paid, here you also pay the 10%, here is also the 10%. So what would be the average? Average would be comes out to 10% only. So your rate of the dividend should not exceed that 10. Suppose that in case you did not declare the dividend in this year, whether you have to comply with this? No. It means that you cannot declare the dividends. Second point, very important. What would be the withdrawal amount? How much you can withdraw from the previous year? First point is clear. First point is a very simple, that you have to take the average of the 3 years rate of dividends and it should not exceed the average of the dividends. Amount of withdrawal. Saying that what would be the amount of the withdrawal? The amount should not exceed the 1/10 of the paid up capital and the free reserves. It means that your amount should not exceed the 10% of the share capital and the reserves. Let's take an example. Suppose that you have in the balance sheet your share capital is 20 lakhs, right? And your reserves of 10 lakhs. Then how much you would be withdraw? And suppose that I have some losses as well. Let's say my losses would be of 2 lakhs in this. First of all, how much amount you have withdraw? Amount to be drawn should be a 1/10 of my free reserves, 20 lakhs, plus my free reserves means of 30 lakhs by 10. It means that 3 lakhs I can withdraw. So what would be the maximum amount I can withdraw is 3 lakhs. But my rate of dividend, what should be my rate of dividend? Rate of dividend. What would be the rate of dividend for this year is my 10% because it is an average of the 3 years. It cannot be exceed. So it means that how much total amount you have to declare. So the dividend is always declared. Another important point is that dividend is declared on face value of the share, not on the market price. Suppose that my face value is 10. So 10% of 10 is 1 and my total share is 2 lakhs. So I can, how much of the amount of dividend I can pay is of 2 lakhs. This is of my one of the condition, how much I can withdraw from this reserve. I can only withdraw the 3 lakhs. But how much I can pay as a dividend? Only 2 lakhs. So obviously the conscious call is said you only have to withdraw the 2 lakhs because you cannot distribute more than 2 lakhs. Right? But you can withdraw. Then again you have to pay it out to your reserve. So ultimately you can pay the 2 lakhs. Utilization of the withdrawal amount. Suppose that you have also a losses. In this is the losses. Whatever the amount you have withdraw, utilization, whatever the amount you have withdraw, you cannot pay as a dividend. First you have to set off this previous year losses. So 3 lakhs minus 2 lakhs of my losses, then the 1 lakh. Now this 1 lakh you have to distribute as a dividend, whichever is lower. Point is clear? Clearly it is written with the amount so drawn first be utilized to set off the losses before the declaring of dividend. Fourth point, balance to the reserves. After withdrawal, what should be the balance of your reserves? It is clearly said that the balance of the reserves after such withdrawal shall not fall below the 15% of the paid up capital. Talks about the paid up capital. The balance withdrawn. Another condition is fourth condition. Balance withdrawn 15% of the paid up capital. So you have to check that your minimum balance in the reserve should not fall below the 15%, not fall below the 15% of the paid up capital. What is my paid up capital here? It is 20 lakhs. So my 20 lakhs into 15%. So what is this? 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is of my 3 lakhs is my reserve. So it means that my minimum reserve balance should be 3 lakhs. So if I can withdraw the amount of 1 lakh from this 10 lakhs, how much would be the remaining amount? The remaining amount would be 9 lakhs. So it means that I complied this provision as well. Once again, I am repeating. How much I can withdraw? 3 lakhs I can withdraw, but I can declare the dividend only 2 lakhs. But before the withdrawal, I need to set off my losses. I can set off my losses. So out of the 2 lakhs, right, 2 lakhs is my losses. I set off this. So only I can pay the dividend of amount is 1 lakh. So I can only withdraw of 1 lakh and 2 lakhs here it is. So how much amount I have in balance is my in my reserve is 7 lakhs. My 7 lakhs. It means that I can, a minimum balance should be 3 lakhs. So obviously 7 lakh is greater than the 3 lakhs, so I can comply with this. So how we can pay the dividends? Shall I go and pay the dividend in cash? You can payable in the cash through the check, warrants you can issue, or the electronic mode. Electronic mode, here it is called, you can do the NEFT to the shareholders, to the shareholders account. You can do that. To whom that dividend should be paid? That dividend should be paid to the registered shareholders or the bankers. Suppose that if the dividend is unpaid, then my section number 124 is applies. If the dividend is unclaimed, if suppose that there is a no shareholders comes out for the claiming, or there is an unpaid dividend, then whatever, because it is an obligation of the company to pay the dividends, it is a mandatory, because once the dividend is declared, it cannot be revoked, it should be paid out. But it is an unpaid, unclaimed dividend. So what could be? The dividend once declared, not being claimed within the 30 days from the date of the declaration, it should be paid to the unpaid dividend account within the 7 days of the expiry of the 30 days. You have to wait for the 30 days. Then within the 7 days after the expiry of the 30 days, you have to pay that amount to the unpaid dividend account, and that unpaid dividend account should be opened as a separate bank account, My date of dividend is, let's say, 1st of January 2020. I need to pay to the 30th of January. Suppose that 20,000 amount is unpaid or unclaimed, then within the 7 days, we can count the 7 days from the 31st of January to this. It means the 6th of February. I need to deposit that amount to the unpaid dividend account in a separate bank account, which is to be opened in a scheduled bank. Perfect. If that dividend money transferred to the unpaid dividend account in pursuance of this section shall be remains unpaid for the 7 years from the date of such transfer, then you have to wait for the 7 years from the 6th of February. 7 years. If still it is unclaimed, it should be transferred to the Investors Education Protection Fund. In short, we can call it IEPF. It should be transferred to the IEPF account. There is one of the penalty provision is there. Any default made in the transfer to the unpaid dividend account, 12% interest should be paid by the company. 12% interest. Right. Last section is 127. 127 section talks about it is also in the nature of penal provision. It is a penal provision. Penal provision. Right. Punishment for the failure to distribute the dividend. If the company fails to pay the dividend, within the period of 30 days from the date of declaration, a shareholder is entitled to the dividend, then a company shall pay interest to the 18% for the default. Suppose my date of declaration of dividend is 1st of January 2020. It should be paid to the 30th of January, and company has not paid within the 30 days. Then the company should pay the 18% interest, because the company has made the default in making the payments to the dividend to its shareholders. Now, it is not only make the penalized. It is not only penalized to the company, but it is also penalized. Section 127 is a very harsh penal provision because it is not only penalized. It is not only penalize the company, but it also penalize the every director. Every director is also, there will be an imprisonment which can be extended to the 2 years. Which is an extended maximum imprisonment is 2 years. But yes, there is 1,000 rupees for each day, every day, which the continuous default. So it means that suppose the dividend is not paid on 30th January and it is still continues, then in the first 31st of January, 1,000 rupees is the penalty accrue. 1st of February, 1,000 accrues. So every director is liable. 2nd of February, 1,000 per day. It means that every day a penalty of 1,000 is adding. So that is all about section 127, and this is a very important and a easy chapter for the dividends. So in this short video, we just make the overview of the dividends, case studies, and in the detail, definitely we can discuss in our detailed class. Thank you so much.